I want to announce our speaker. It's really special speaker today with two of our club members sitting on the board of the Twin Cities Youth Symphonies. Megen Balda joined the Greater Twin Cities Youth Symphonies in 2003 and served as executive director since 2011. She leads strategic planning, fundraising, and program development and oversees the daily operation of the Symphony's 38-member artistic and administrative staff, stewarding a $2.7 million budget and multiple endowed funds. Under Megan's leadership, the Greater Twin Cities Youth Symphonies has grown into the largest youth orchestra program in the United States. Enrollment has doubled and 5 new orchestras have been added. Prior to work at the Symphony, Megen held positions with the St. Paul Chamber Orchestra and the Minnesota Chorale. She is a 2010 alumna of the James P. Shannon Leadership Institute through the Wilder Foundation, and 2016 graduate of Leadership of St. Paul. From 2016 to 2020, she served as chair of the League of American Orchestras Youth Orchestra Division Board and is a current member with the Schubert Club. Megen has studied arts administration, earned a Bachelor of Music degree from St. Olaf College, and she lives in Shoreview with her husband, John, and their 2 Bernese mountain dogs. Please welcome Megen.
Excellent. How are we doing today? Good. Excellent. Hopefully everybody is full. That was a delicious meal. Thank you so much for having me today. It's a real honor to be with all of you today. I love speaking to Rotary clubs because I find them to be just curious, lovely, warm, friendly, and such service-minded individuals. And that has been my absolute experience already here today. So thank you. And if you can't hear me, just holler or raise your hand and gesture. Again, my name is Megen Balda, and I am the executive director with GTCYS. So that is our kind of funny acronym, Greater Twin Cities Youth Symphonies. We pronounce our acronym GTCYS. So if you hear me say GTCYS, that's what I mean. I've been with the organization since 2003, and I'm so happy to be here and to see Carolyn Pratt again. I was a guest with Bloomington Rotary quite a few years ago, and we were grateful to be the beneficiary of some scholarship grants quite a while back, and so it really is an honor to be back here with all of you today. How many of you have heard of our organization? Good, quite a few hands. Excellent, that's great. I can just give you a few nuts and bolts. So we are a nonprofit organization. We are an extra-curricular program for orchestra students, meaning we are not affiliated with one specific school district. Kids come from all across the region to be in our to participate in our organization. When we add them all up, we have more than 1,300 students in our programs. We have 11 school year orchestras. We have 2 community partnerships with schools called Harmony. That's a strings instruction program for kids who lack access to instruments and instruction, and we have summer camps. But we exist to supplement what is or isn't happening in some school districts. We know that every district is a little bit different when it comes to arts education and music opportunities, and we're not here to exclusively fill that void or compete with the schools, because we want those school programs to be thriving and successful, and we encourage our students to be leaders in their school programs if those programs exist. And so a lot of kids come to us because they might not have an orchestra in their school. They might come to us because they want additional experience to enrich, like to go above and beyond what they have in school. We have a lot of leadership opportunities within GTCYS. We have a fantastic student leadership team, which consists of students from every orchestra level. And I think that's one thing that really sets us apart from a lot of youth orchestras across the country, is that we have from very beginners, who've just been, in our Harmony program, who are just receiving their instruments for the very first time, We have students who've been playing for a couple years in our beginning level orchestras, and we have every level all the way through pre-professional. And our top orchestra called Symphony, if you heard them today, I'm sorry I couldn't bring them with me today. They're a little too big for this room. If you were to hear them today, you would probably think that it's a professional orchestra. They play at such a high level, and that really is the beauty of our program, is that we serve all of those different levels, which means there's a spot for just about every interested student. We perform more than 30 concerts throughout the community. And we, of course, love playing at Orchestra Hall in downtown Minneapolis, where the Minnesota Orchestra plays. We have a series at Ted Mann Concert Hall at the University of Minnesota. But equally important, if not more important, in my opinion, we go out into the community. So we have an annual concert at Friendship Village here in Bloomington for seniors there. We typically perform at Union Gospel Mission for the men's campus for unhoused men in St. Paul. We go into schools, and so it really is this community-minded approach to youth development and to music. We also have the opportunity to tour internationally. Our top orchestra is headed to Sydney, Australia, and New Zealand this summer for a capstone concert at the Sydney Opera House, which is a pretty big deal, and our students are extremely excited about that. So just a couple of fun facts. We serve more than 20,000 students a year. We have about 40 employees. In our, 54-year history, more than 16,000 alumni have participated in our program. And one other, I think, really unique fact that sets us apart from a lot of organizations is that we've continued to grow and to add programs and to expand how we're serving the community rather than capping enrollment or turning kids away. And so what has happened as a result of that, there's just been so much interest in our program, is that we have grown. We've added numerous orchestras in recent years, and we are, like you heard, the largest youth orchestra program in the country this year when it comes to the number of orchestras and the number of students. We do not have the largest budget. We do not have the largest staff, but that just means that we are really mindful and good stewards of our resources. So a little bit of show and tell here. How many of you played an instrument growing up? Look at all these hands. That's fantastic. Excellent. How many of you played in a school ensemble when you were growing up? Okay, a few hands. Anybody play in an extracurricular youth orchestra program like GTCYS? Sarah. Okay, at least we have one. That's great. Any singers or choir members? Yes. All right, excellent. Anyone still play their instrument? Okay, that's fantastic. I love that. I love that. And how many of you have ever attended a live concert? Hopefully all the hands go up. Okay. Well, like I was saying earlier, you don't need to be talented to attend a concert and enjoy what you hear, and we can all kind of find community that way. Someone who played an instrument growing up, tell me one thing that you learned that from playing your instrument that you still use in your life today. Somebody who had their hand up as playing an instrument when they were young.
Listen to your neighbor.
Listen to your neighbor. That's great. That's great advice. Mm-hmm. Somebody else, what did you learn from playing an instrument that you still use today? Yeah.
Well, I suppose that you can be part of the whole.
Yep, being part of the whole. It's not just about you, right? And I think, sir, you were going to raise your hand?
I was going to say practicing matters.
Practicing matters. It does. It does indeed. So there have been a lot of studies over the years about how learning an instrument specifically influences brain development in young people. And I invite you to even just Google that, and you'll find some really wonderful stats. That is a really important reason why we do what we do. It's not just about the music. It's about going deeper than that. Here's a concert from Taormina, Italy from a few years ago. But it really is more than high-level music training. So I was a pianist growing up, a pretty serious competitive pianist growing up, and I spent many hours practicing a day, every day. That's just it's what I did. And I learned about discipline and focus and how to strive for excellence and also disappointment, right? I didn't win every competition, and that's a really important life skill to learn. I learned about attention to detail and to really analyze what I was doing and what I was hearing. And those are all things that I've used in my career in arts administration and in life in general. And I'm really grateful for that experience, having had that growing up. And yet, it was really lonely, right? I was practicing alone, and I didn't have that connection and that community, and I didn't really know that until I started with GTCYS. And to see our kids come together, 100 kids in an orchestra arriving once a week for rehearsal, putting their cell phones down, for an hour and a half, 2.5 hours, and focusing on the music, talking to each other, listening, practicing. It is an incredibly beautiful process to see those kids coming together. And in hindsight, I feel kind of sad that I didn't have that as a pianist growing up. And on the flip side, I'm so grateful that our kids have that sense of community and can find that level of collaboration and build their confidence, and to know that every student matters. So there are a lot of parallels between like a youth music ensemble and sports, right? And one is that every student matters. In our orchestras, nobody sits out. They're not warming up the bench, waiting, to jump in during the game. They all get to play. And again, that joy of coming together is really incredible. It's kind of that soloist versus ensemble mindset. Obviously, we've had some tough times here in our community in the last several years through COVID and through some budget cuts in different school districts for the arts, and of course, currently what's going on. We have been We've been really fortunate to take a very adaptable, flexible approach through all of these challenges and to really put our students first. We bent over backwards during COVID, and we were one of the only youth activities in the area who continued to offer in-person instruction. We had this crazy rotating schedule of every other week. Half of the kids would come, and then the other half would tune in on Zoom from home, and then the next week they'd flip-flop. And it was really incredible how much our students needed that small sense of normalcy. And we're feeling a lot of those parallels right now. We've adapted, we've brought back the Zoom rehearsals for those kids who need and want to be at home to feel safe. We've adjusted our attendance policy to make sure that students know that they're not going to be penalized if they need to stay home. And the mental health of our students is a real serious concern. I'm not sure if you're seeing that in your circles and your networks, but it's real, and we see that, and I think that makes this sense of community even more important. And a big part of our program is really around the pathway. So I mentioned all these different levels, and we love that a student can come in really at any level and still find a way to grow and to excel and to develop their skills in our program. We have students from more than 265 schools represented in our program. We offer need-based scholarships for tuition and for private lessons. We have entry points for first-time students who never dreamed of being able to play an instrument, let alone being in an orchestra. And we've put a lot of emphasis on reducing barriers and breaking those down so that every student has the opportunity to be involved. Just a couple of numbers. We offer more than $300,000 in need-based scholarships for tuition and private lessons. We also offer scholarships for the international tours that our symphony does. We offer reduced price tickets for our few ticketed concerts for those scholarship families. So really working in a comprehensive way to try to address those socioeconomic barriers. What students tell us: this is where I found my people. I learned how to lead and how to listen. And GTCYS is home for me. These really hit home for me because, again, when you see these kids coming together, they want that sense of belonging. They need that sense of community. Sometimes they have that in their schools, and that's wonderful. Sometimes they don't for whatever reason. And for students to find their people in GTCYS is really incredible. In terms of community support, as I mentioned, we are a nonprofit, and the tuition that families pay only covers about half of the actual cost to participate, which means we have to raise a good chunk of money every year. And the donations from the community help make sure that we can provide those scholarships and make our programs accessible. And when I talk to donors about their support of GTCYS, yes, it's supporting the music, but it's supporting that our individual young people who are the future leaders, they're our future workforce, right? They are our future arts patrons and concert goers and Rotary members. And I had dinner with one of our donors a few weeks ago who's a partner at a well-known law firm here in town, and she was a musician growing up. And she said, as an attorney, she prefers hiring former musicians because they know how to work hard, they know how to persist, they know how to practice, they know how to get it done. And so all of those skills we are building right now in GTCYS pays a difference for our broader community and leadership going forward. Again, I'm sorry I couldn't bring the whole orchestra today, but I do invite you to experience it for yourself if you're interested in joining us. We have lots of concerts. I listed just a couple here. This is a photo of some of our students playing at Orchestra Hall. Hopefully you recognize that stage. On February 22nd, in just a couple weeks, we have our annual Orchestrating Opportunities benefit at Orchestra Hall. It's pay what you wish, and it's a really fun afternoon. It's not a stuffy gala at all. It's very enjoyable and very impactful. And then on March 1st, we actually have concerts here at Jefferson High School, and we've performed there annually, I think for the last 2 or 3 years we've been there. It's a beautiful space. We have 2 performances there featuring 4 of our orchestras. That's free, open to the public. If you have friends or grandkids or neighbors who have young people, we'd love to see you there. They're very accessible concerts, probably an hour long each. So I'd love to see you there if possible. And again, I just want to thank Rotary for the service that you all provide, and just that commitment to the civic life and that shared value around young people and education and community, and that sense of belonging. I think I have not checked my time, but how are we doing on time? I'm a little bit ahead of time. So I know I was speaking a little bit fast there, just trying to make sure I covered all the points in the presentation, but I'm happy to answer questions. Yes?
What about the instruments? You know, instruments are very expensive these days,
Yep.
and so some of these children may have a hard time getting an instrument, like a piano, or
Yep.
I heard the tubas or something like $2,000 or $4,000.
Instruments can be very expensive, so that was the question, like what about instruments, which are present a financial barrier? That's a real barrier, and that's partly why for our Harmony program, which puts free instruments in the hands of young kids at 2 partner schools in St. Paul, that's really a way of breaking down the barriers. And as those students progress and work their way up into our orchestras, we continue providing free instruments for them. We have a few other ways of helping students with instruments as well, kind of on an kind of as needed basis. But that's a real need. Mm-hmm.
Have you approached schools that have used instruments?
We usually encourage students to go to their school first to see if there are instruments available for a loan, and sometimes we have actually kind of rented an instrument from a school if we can't find another option. Mm-hmm. Yeah, good question.
Do you mind, because there is a little bit of time here, if you're interested or able to do this, tell us just a tiny bit more about the Harmony program?
Yeah. Yes, so Harmony is a program that we're really, really proud of. Traditionally, all the students in GTCYS came to our program with an instrument, with some level of playing ability, and with some adult in their life who could get them tuned from rehearsals, and with some adult in their life who could at least fill out a scholarship form, even if they didn't have the full means to pay full tuition. And so that alone is a lot of barriers, right? And we realized, you know, that's always going to be an important part of the community that we serve, you know, families who come with that kind of knowledge and understanding already. But there's so many kids in our community who don't have an instrument, who don't even know about it as a potential opportunity. And so back in 2015, when we started thinking about these barriers in a deeper way, we wanted to back up several steps and figure out, okay, we know that not every family can, meet us here. How do we meet the community where they're at? And so after probably half a year of listening sessions, we started our harmony program at a partner school, Riverview Spanish English Immersion School in St. Paul. It's on the west side. And this is our 10th year of that program. And we added a second school last year in St. Paul, a French immersion school. And between those two sites, we now have about 110 students learning a violin or learning a cello. It's highly accessible. Families can pay as little as $25 for the year, or nothing if that $25 is a barrier. And then we kind of follow them as they grow up, musically speaking, in GTCYS with the instruments, with the lessons, with scholarship for tuition. And so we really are seeing those barriers being addressed in some deeper ways than we did previously.
I guess I quite, maybe you mentioned this earlier, what's the relationship between GTCYS and the Bloomington Symphony Orchestra that Sarah's part of?
Yeah.
So we, with Sarah having been on our board for 6 years now, and I should say Sarah's an amazing board member, and we're so thankful for her leadership as secretary, and she is the chair of at least one of our committees and serves on several, so fantastic volunteer right here in our midst. But we talk shop now and then, like, how are you doing this? Or, how are you doing this? And we've talked about going a little bit deeper in terms of, I know there's some alumni in Bloomington Symphony who, not just of our youth orchestra program, but of other youth orchestra programs, and how do we kind of raise some of those stories and profiles and highlight the value of learning an instrument and still being able to play as an adult in a really fine community ensemble. So not a lot of direct partnership per se, but Sarah, would you add to that?
Well, I'll just say that when I was invited to be on the board, that I did it not with the purest of motives, because the kids who are learning instruments are someday going to be adults, and I hope that they will someday join a group like the Bloomington Symphony, or they'll be our audience members. So that was really one of the things that spurred me on. And my son, Dashel, has been playing GTCYS for three years now, and he will be at the 2:30 concert on March 1st at Jefferson. So if you're there, I'm sure I'll see you. But it's been a great program for him to learn and stretch, and he's kind of an introverted, shy kid. So it's been really good for him to go outside of his comfort zone and meet new students and really be challenged in a way that is different from the kind of playing that he's doing in his school orchestra program.
Is there
I was just curious, because your program goes through the age of 18, is there any pattern that you see the students follow after that? You know, the one that I knew was a very high-level musician, and I don't even remember if she pursued that in college.
We have seen, since Mark Russell Smith, our artistic director, joined our staff in 2012, I believe it was, he has really increased the quality, the artistic quality of our top orchestra symphony, and then as a result, all of our younger kids have kind of taken notice, and aspire to be in that flagship group. And so the quality of all of the groups has really risen. And so since Mark joined our staff, I would say the number of graduates leaving our program and going into college to pursue music is much higher than it had been. It varies, of course, whether they stick with those music majors, but that's really not the business that we're in. We are really trying to focus on how do we use music as a development tool, really, to create well-rounded individuals, confident leaders, and again, our future community members. But we do have some. Let's see, Michael Sutton, who's the concertmaster of the Bloomington Symphony Orchestra. He's an alum of our program. And we have several other like Gretchen Carlson. She's not a musician now, but you may recognize the name Gretchen Carlson, former Miss America. She's one of our alumni. Pete Doctor, I think from Bloomington, was a GTCYS alum. Yeah. So we have alumni who go on to do amazing things.
Anyone else?
Just one quick thing. Because our Rotary Club and Don gave such a fantastic presentation on what we are all doing, and that is to serve the needs of the community. We've been in the scholarship business ourselves for a very long time through our STRIVE program, and we continue to serve the community with our grants, as well as the district and international. When I served as president of GTCYS, I believe my last year of serving was 2015, when I handed over the gavel. And I have to tell you, we were enormously proud to have scholarships at the level of $25,000, and we had 6 orchestras. So now it's the year 25-26, and they have 11 orchestras, and they're giving out $300,000 in scholarship. And because we have been in the scholarship business, and we are also serving throughout the world with ways to raise money, it gives us a wonderful perspective on how things can grow with the dedication of the organization itself. And I believe that we're all pulling in the same direction. And it's so nice to be able to get that perspective.
Thank you, Carolyn. You and I saw a lot, and I'm grateful for your leadership as board chair and all those many meetings we would meet right here. But it's really been an honor to see and be part of the organization as it has continued to flourish with good leadership and good board members and good community members too. So thank you again for your time today. I'm so grateful.
Thank you, Megan. And I got to say, you've got, between Sarah and Carolyn, 2 great promoters and supporters in our club. So we do get to hear often about the events coming up at GTCYS, and it's good to learn, go a little deeper today, so we appreciate you coming out. With that, we are dismissed.